It seemed a lot of people liked the story of Suhaila and Farouk, so I thought today I'd tell the story of Thabit and the stolen apple. Thabit was a young student of knowledge from Persia, and he had set out across the Muslim world in order to further his understanding of Islam. Unfortunately, he soon found himself out of provisions, stranded in lands he didn't recognize. He came across an orchard, and his hunger got the best of him. He grabbed a single fruit and ate it, regret striking immediately. He asked anyone he could find about where the owner of the orchard lived until he found the man's location, immediately rushing over, pleading for him to forgive him. And the man refused. Distraught, Thabit waited outside the man's house until dawn had broken, and again he pleaded, "Please forgive me for the sake of Allah." And the man relented upon a single condition. Thabit was to marry the man's daughter, and although this initially seems like an easy condition, the man elaborated. "My daughter is deaf, blind, mute, and immobile." Thabit's heart sank, wondering if it was all worth it just for a single apple. But he couldn't stand the thought of standing in front of Allah as a thief, and so he agreed. The next morning after his salah, he headed towards the man's house and thought, "I could leave, no one would know, no one would find me. But Allah would find me." He accepted whatever Allah was bringing his way, and he entered the man's house and was immediately surprised. He was met by a woman of immaculate beauty, and stunned he gave his salam, and to further his surprise she responded in kind. He had many questions. NUMAN spoke, saying that her father had told the truth. She was indeed blind, mute, deaf, and immobile, for her feet would not take her to places of sin, and her mouth would not utter words of haram. Her eyes could not bear to see what displeases Allah, and her ears would refuse to listen to frivolous, wasteful talk. They had been looking for a suitor for her for a very long time, but the men of the city were not of her caliber. Her father had tested Thabit. He had seen his sincerity regarding the apple, and he had tested his integrity in seeing that he didn't run when he could. And so the two were married, and they were married for the rest of their lives, and they had a child by the name of NUMAN ibn Thabit, also known as Imam Abu Hanifa.